Some many moons ago, I suggested that at some point we were going to have to think up a different name for this broadcast instead of calling it Quarantiki. Apparently not. We're just going to keep cruising with Quarantiki until I, I just don't know. I don't know when. So we're just going to continue to do this, but we're going to switch things up a little bit this evening. Instead of going through like a series of cocktails, I thought what I would do is do a little bit of a deeper dive into grenadine, with one notable exception, and that will be that I don't actually own any Rose's grenadine. So Rose's grenadine is high fructose corn syrup and red food coloring, essentially red food dye. Um, and while as a youngster, I loved that stuff in Shirley Temples and pretty, made me feel very grown up having a fizzy glass of something with, a little special something from the bar thrown in. Little did I know it was just making my soda sweeter. So this evening we're going to talk about grenadine. We're going to do a little tasting of some different grenadines. We're going to make at least one cocktail with 3 different grenadines. Depending on the time, we might go to a second cocktail. I'm not sure what else we're going to do, but that's the. Oh, we're probably going to toast something.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
We have a Colleen and a
Hey,
Keith.
Colleen. Hi, Keith.
Colleen says January isn't done yet.
January is not done yet. No, it is not. There are many things still ahead in this week of January.
Tiki.
Well, we're gonna try and tiki-fy you.
Greg says hi, Star and Pooch, and Amanda is a big fan of grenadine.
Grenadine, it's bright red, or it's supposed to be. We're gonna come back to that. So what are we gonna toast? I don't know, but we're gonna use Ron Zacapa. Why? Because I haven't tasted my Ron Zacapa in quite a while. It is a Guatemalan rum, and it looks all spiffy because it comes in this canister, and it's got the wicker wrapping around the bottle, and it's got a really prominently featured number 23 here, which makes you think that maybe this is 23 years old. It's also a Solaris system, which for those of you that are not in the know or don't remember on a Solaris system, essentially what they're doing is they are combining rum from multiple ages. So they have, it's not really a physical ladder, but it's sort of an age ladder. And they will take the rum out of or half the rum out of the bottommost rung of that ladder, which is the most aged, right? And then they fill it with rum from the next set in the ladder, and they work their way all the way up until they get to the end of the ladder, and then they fill that with new rum, right? So it's the oldest rum in there was the very first rum that was put in the first rung of the ladder, and that could be 23 years old, or it could have some other bearing on it. But they got into a little bit of trouble for putting the 23 so prominently up there, and some people questioning whether or not that was a misleading labeling practice, making people think it had actually been aged for 23 years. But it's a different process. It leads to a very nice rum, a very complex rum that I know a lot of people like, and it is often, along with something like Diplomatico Grand Reserve or Diplomatico Exclusiva Reserva, is often sort of a gateway to the premium rum brands because they're not very expensive. They're obviously like 2 or 3 times more expensive than a bottle of Bacardi Silver, but they're not going to break the bank. They're not like $100 a bottle, and they introduce you to the world of wait. I don't have to pour this with Coke. I can sip this, and so that's a good thing. And so we're going to taste this, and this is going to be an entirely different experience than last week's tasting rum, which wasn't good. We did figure out that that capsaicin sense that we got from that bitter hot sense is probably due to their artificial coloring, but say what they who knows. So here you go. Here's some Ron Zacapa 23. It is a Spanish style rum, Ron Zacapa. So that tells you the Spanish style, which means this is going to be column stilled and then aged.
Okay.
Right? So here's to
Ukulele.
True. So got a big work project that's coming up and then got a couple of medical appointments, and then we're running away for a few days. We're just getting the heck away, and we're going to our very first, I know it seems weird, very first Tiki convention. We've never been to a Tiki
And
convention.
Amanda, who's watching, is going to meet us there.
Yeah. So we don't really know what to expect. It's down in Atlanta.
We'll see what's there.
Masking, social distancing, who knows?
Thursday night, we're having dinner and drinks at Trader Vic's.
Trader Vic's, because Atlanta has a Trader Vic's, one of the very few left in existence.
To vacation.
To vacationing.
In whatever it is in this world.
See, that's just a
nice rum.
It's just a nice rum.
Yeah.
It's not going to bowl you over with its complexity.
No.
There's a little bit of heat on the back end in the alcohol. I think it's only 43%. It's not very hot. Virgin sugarcane aged at high altitude in oak barrels, 40%. Yeah, so it's for my taste, it's a little hot for 40%. But this would also make, it would make an excellent sipping rum. There's a couple of drinks we're doing this evening that could use like a gold Puerto Rican or a lightly aged Puerto Rican. That would be fine in replacement of that. When they say Puerto Rican, they really sort of mean Spanish style, column still, clean rum. This fits all those bills, but has a little more character to it because of the aging across the Solera system.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a nice, tasty little rum. We are going to taste some grenadine, my love. So you may want to just beware that you're going to have to come back up here if you want to taste some grenadine.
Where's Cheryl? I'm not going to try last name.
Hello, Cheryl. Sorry about the loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're here for escaping, so we're going to try and escape. So grenadine, what the heck is grenadine? So almost all of us know grenadine from the little bottles or sometimes large bottles of Rose's grenadine, which, as I said earlier, is nothing more than really fructose, corn syrup. It's a corn syrup, some added flavoring to it, and some red food dye. Most people seem to think that grenadine is supposed to be a cherry flavor, and I think that comes from the Rose's grenadine, which it has that vibrant cherry. It's the same color as maraschino cherries, so you want, it's got to be like a maraschino syrup. It's not. That's not what it is. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's not what it was historically. So near as we can tell, historically, it's actually a pomegranate syrup. So what you're doing is you're taking the juice from pomegranates and you're mixing that with sugar, usually with a little bit of low heat, so you can get that saturation in the solution. And then you might be adding a couple of other things to that in order to make it come out the way you want. So if you have been watching this show for a bit, you may know that I use a homemade blend that not a homemade blend. I use a home blend of things to get a grenadine that I like. And that is in this bottle here. So what this is it is equal parts of a craft small batch grenadine that comes from Jack Rudy Cocktail Company and hibiscus syrup. Now the reason I like the hibiscus syrup is because the hibiscus syrup is a bright pinkish red color, and the Jack Rudy, as you can see, is pretty dark. Right? So this is a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can tell how much lighter that is, but it is considerably lighter.
But David and Chris from the basement.
Oh, that's right.
Eating 7-layer nachos.
David and Chris are not coming from Mali this time. They're from their dirt house in Kansas.
Cheryl says, thanks. Nice to be around friends. And we have a hi from Dana and Russ.
Dana and Russ, hey. Congratulations on the San Francisco 49ers winning their game. Bye-bye Packers. Bye-bye Bucks. Bye-bye Tennessee. I don't really care, I guess, Tennessee. And I have no idea what the Kansas City game looks like. I'm sure that we don't have anybody from Kansas City really tuning in because, well, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs playing, and so they're going to be focused on that. At least, well, I don't know. I've got a whole bunch of fantasy football fanatics from Kansas that I'm friends with. They're all watching the game. Okay, so, and anyway, grenadine. So This is a home blend. So it is the Jack Rudy small batch grenadine. It is hibiscus syrup to get a little bit of brightness and floral elements to it. And then I add some Pama to it. And what is Pama? Pama is actually a pomegranate liqueur. And so that just gives me a little bit of alcohol in here, a slightly different flavor profile, lightens it up just a tad because the hibiscus syrup is a 2-to-1. And it keeps frickin' forever. I can't count how long I've had both the Jack Ruby and the hibiscus syrup. A long time. But that's what I've been using. So we're going to put that to the test. We're going to put that to the test, first of all, up against the Jack Rudy small batch grenadine. And we'll just see how that goes, whether or not the additions of the Pama and the hibiscus syrup actually improve things. And last but not least, we hope, maybe least, I don't know, we've never tried this before. I finally got off my butt, found some motivation today, and made a homemade batch of grenadine. So what did I do? I took a bottle of organic pomegranate juice, and I put it on a burner, and warmed it up, and I added an equal part of sugar to it, so 2 cups of the pomegranate juice, 2 cups of sugar, mix that together, added a little bit, like 2 ounces of this stuff, which is pomegranate molasses. And if you were to ask me what actually is in pomegranate molasses, I would not be able to tell you. Yeah, that's how this works. I don't know. What does this say? It says concentrated pomegranate juice. Okay, so that's what's in it. It's concentrated pomegranate juice. A lot of people, when making homemade grenadine, will take the pomegranate juice and they will put it over high heat and they will boil it down so they get a condensed version. This adds, I guess, some of that flavor that, God, that's disgusting looking. Some of that condensed flavor without having to have you boil up your pomegranate juice, which will boil away some of the flavor of it. Also in here is a little bit of orange blossom water, just to give it another floral bit. So we're going to put this up against the other 2 grenadines and see how that goes.
Okay, so we have an update.
We have an update.
Cheryl, Chiefs ahead 13-7.
Okay.
With 1:52 until halftime.
And they're playing the Bills. You know, as a Miami fan, I really should be rooting against the Bills. But, you know, I don't know, the Patriots are gone, Tom Brady's gone. I could care less right now. I'm just.
And Christine wanted to know if travels meant no Quarantiki next Sunday. And I told her that we would probably do one from our hotel room.
Yeah, that's usually when we're traveling, we will try and do some form of broadcast. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but we will see. We will try. I'm going to do like just a 1/4 ounce straight up. So yes, there will be a broadcast. Well, all intentions are to do a broadcast on Sunday. We will see how that goes. All right, so up front.
We might buy a thing or 2.
True. Okay, so the Jack Ruby goes there. And yes, I know I am. Should not be doing this. I should not be using the same jigger and mixing these little bits, but we're going to do it anyway. All right. It's definitely darker.
Yeah.
And the homemade grenadine is going to knock both of these out for being dark, which is not a bonus feature in my book.
Yeah, because you put hibiscus flower in your mix
to lighten it up, to give it a little more reddish color, because this is that's purple. That is purple.
Do you want me to hold them up to the?
Yeah, if we've got the little light.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ready? All right. Here is the first one. This is the Jack Rudy straight up.
So it's got kind of a brownish, reddish, rustish color.
Yeah, it's very rusty, dead body, blood kind of color. Here is the homemade,
not the home
blend, right?
So yeah, very
much more red. Yep, it's a little more like the color that you kind of want your grenadine to be, right?
Hmm.
And here is the homemade, the inky blackness that is homemade.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, that looks, yeah, that's, I don't know what to do with that.
Okay.
So from a coloration standpoint, it's just straight up, I'm preferring
Okay.
the blend, right? That's just
Right.
the color profile is better. You think if you made like a tequila sunrise,
Right.
you want the red to pop. You
Right.
don't want, this is like tequila sunrise in LA on a bad day, right? And like, what? Or this is LA, this is like Wuhan province,
Yeah.
in China or something like that. Okay, so let's do
Smell.
do smell. Yeah,
Mhm.
sure. Incense, go away, right? Go ahead, give that a try. I'm gonna take a drink of water here.
There's not a lot of scent.
Yeah, I would say I get almost nothing off of this in terms of scent. Like literally nothing. I mean, granted that bottle's been open for a while, so it's a little oxidized, but still.
It's almost like a cherry scent to that one.
Yeah, this smells a little cherry-like, which it's not supposed to, but it does. And there's nothing in here that would make it smell like cherry, but it does. Okay,
Move this to the back part.
and the homemade. Completely different scent profile. I'm not even sure what that smells like.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure it smells entirely good.
I don't know that scent.
I don't know either. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
All right, so spin this around a little bit. Not a whole lot of legs on there. It's pretty thin.
Uh-huh.
All right. This probably has a little more.
A little more legs.
A little more, yep. And then this will probably just crawl up the glass.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Sticks to the edge of the glass.
Sticks to the edge of the glass. All right. Taste test.
Okay.
After spinning it around, there's a little more scent to this.
That tastes nice.
Yes, it does. Oh, this is so embarrassing when you're like, oh, I'm sipping this wonderful thing. It goes down the wrong pipe, and now you're coughing, and you're like, oh, what did you drink? It's like, it's fine. It's like, it's great. It's okay.
I like that.
Okay. All right. Next, the home blend. Yeah, we're gonna do more water. It's empty.
We have to drink tap water. Oh my god.
Much more flowery, and yeah, it does give you a cherry
Yeah.
kind of sense to it.
There's a cherry to it. There's flowery. It's much brighter.
Yeah,
A higher.
it's a higher note.
This one is a earthier, lower note. This one's a higher flowery.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I threw a little Cuban music into the mix this evening, so we're getting a little Cuban music. Buena Vista Social Club soundtrack, some other things. Apparently she likes it. Hey Mikey, she likes it.
It's between the two. Because there is some of there's some earthiness, but it's not as low earthy as the Jack Rudy. There's a lot of mid notes in it. There's a touch of flowery.
I think, quite frankly, the Orange Blossom is just a little heavy on that.
Might be the orange blossom that I'm getting from the flowery.
But
three good grenadine.
Three good grenadines, slightly different flavor profiles. So you ask, when you go into a tiki establishment and you order some drink that has grenadine in it, why doesn't it taste exactly like this other bar's drink? Well, they might even be using the exact same rums and mixes and other things, but their grenadines might be different.
Amanda wants to know what the orange blossom ingredient is.
It's just orange blossom water. It's the same.
It's like rose water.
It's like rose water. Yep. Find it in the same places you can find rose water, Middle Eastern markets, that sort of thing. Has much the same uses as those. Often used as an ingredient in little bits in orgeat. Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to.
And you don't need much, so steal from us.
Right. Yep. Okay, let's see. What else am I going to do here? So, while we're continuing on with the tasting, I'm just going to take a little bit of some freshly made soda water and add that to these. And do another tasting. And see what this is like. I'll just mix this up.
We have a soda stream now, thanks to Colleen.
We do have a soda stream, and that is in fact where we got that soda water from, because it turns out I was out of club soda. And my apologies to Becca, who was over here, and I told her that I had club soda, and then I didn't have club soda, and it didn't dawn on me to try and use the soda stream at that point to produce some club soda for her. So sorry, Becca. I'll do better next time, I hope. Well, that was quite nice. The club soda just lifted those notes right and opened it right up. Unfortunately, there's a little tiny bit
Do
there.
I get to try them with soda?
There's a little bit of that. Yep.
Okay.
There wasn't much of that left,
Right.
so. Quite frankly, I think they come closer together when you put them with the soda water in terms of flavor. It brings those flavors closer in, more similar to one another. Oh, I need a little water after that. That nose is weird though. That nose is definitely coming from the the combination of the pomegranate molasses, which has a very, very concentrated flavor. I did taste it before I put it in the bottle, and and the orange blossom water. So it's kind of strange. I think I like it though. It has a bizarre combination of the tartness and those earthy flavors, and still being sweet. That is what you want from a grenadine, and just totally not the just sweet, sickly sweet. Okay, so there you go. I don't know that I have a clear favorite just tasting those straight. I just don't. So, I mean, they're all good. They're all just slightly different from one another. No real reason to say, oh, I like this one better than I like one of the others. So let's put it to the test and see how they handle cocktails. So the two cocktails that I chose for this evening are both, well, the first one is very grenadine forward. Grenadine is, in both of them, grenadine is the only sweetening ingredient. But in the Shrunken Skull, the recipe is for 4 ingredients, equal parts, and one of those parts is grenadine. So a full quarter of what you were putting in here is grenadine. So it is like the most grenadine forward of the tiki cocktails. So I figured if we really want to show off the grenadine, what better cocktail to do than the Shrunken Skull? It is also a favorite at the tiki parties. It's very easy to do because it's equal parts. I don't even have to remember. It's like, okay, it's bing, 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 bing. It's an ounce of grenadine. It's an ounce of lime. I forgot to make lime juice. Oh no. So I'm gonna have to do that in front of you. We may only get through the Shrunken Skull this evening because I have to make lime juice. Grenadine, lime, 2 kinds of rum. The first rum generally is listed as a gold Puerto Rican rum, and what we are going to use for that is we're going to use Bacardi, but we're going to use, it says right here, gold rum. It says rare gold rum from Bacardi, aged 8 years. The Bacardi 8 and the Bacardi 10 are fantabulistic rums from Bacardi. They are so many light years better than the Bacardi Silver, Bacardi Gold, Bacardi Select, or whatever their top of the line of their rums are. And the 8 year is just, I really like the 8 year as a mixing rum. The 10 year, you can sip the 10 year. You can sip the 8 year too. I mean, it's perfectly fine rum. I don't think it has the complexity that you necessarily want, but it makes a fantastic mixing rum for anything that calls for gold Puerto Rican rum, Bacardi 8. And as long as we're going with 8 years for a Demerara rum, we might as well use the Eldorado 8. Hey, they're both 8 years. Sounds good to me, right? So that's good. The drink is also really, really simple to make. So the 4 ingredients go into a shaker. You add some ice. You shake it. You dump it into a mug. That's it. There's no straining, no nothing. We could obviously garnish the mug, and you probably ought to. We're likely not getting there this evening because I do need to get a tiki mug, but before we do that, let's start, because I can put all the other ingredients in these shakers. So let's do, aside from the ice, right? So let's do that. We're going to do 3 of these. We will start with the grenadine, and I hope I have enough of the Jack Ruby. I do, in fact. Okay, here's the other nice thing. So I have another bottle of the Jack Ruby, so it's not an issue. But that bottle is upstairs, and I'm not going to go and get it. So what we're going to do here is this tops out right at 3/4 of an ounce. So because this is all equal portions, I can do that. We're just going to go 3/4 of an ounce for each of these. So okay, so there's 3/4 of an ounce. Next up, 3/4 of an ounce of the home blend. I hear the sounds of lime squeezing behind me. 3/4 of an ounce home blend. Now, it is entirely possible that we are going to get through this process and these drinks will be indistinguishable from one another.
That could be.
In which case, that tells you a great deal about what you should be doing in terms of the grenadine that you're using. If you want convenience, just buy a bottle of Jack Ruby. If you want to up your alcohol content a little bit and you want a slightly different color profile, you can do something like I do, using the Palma and the hibiscus syrup. Or if you want probably what is the cheapest route, the cheapest route, because you're going to use a lot of grenadine, the homemade would make a lot of sense. The pomegranate juice is relatively inexpensive. A bottle of pomegranate molasses is going to last you forever. So there you go. Okay, we are going to do 3/4 of an ounce of Bacardi Ocho. I'm going to rinse this. Ooh, there appears to be lime juice. Got rid of that. There we go. We did spend part of this morning, yay, watching Greg on how to drink.
Uh-huh.
And we took no inspiration from Greg this morning. He was recreating the Mountain Dew margarita from Red Lobster as one of the episodes. I saw no need to try doing that. Okay, there's that.
I don't know which one you want.
Should be relatively on the small side. Yeah, I think, yeah, like that. Here we go. There's that. Again, 3/4 of an ounce is what I'm going with here. We got the panda mug. Pandemonium occurring. All right.
There's 3 different size mugs, just to make life difficult.
Okay. Why didn't I think of this before? We mentioned her earlier. I know what we could do.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do these?
Ha!
There's 1, there's 2,
Yeah,
there's
for
3.
Ruth.
No pandemonium. All right, so these guys are going to go over here. Right, there we go. Ta-da! Okay. Huzzah! That seems to possibly work. I am going to be a little. Did you strain the lime juice?
No, it is
Just
unstrained.
Unstrained. Okay, so we are going to do this. I'm going to run it through a strainer and pour it into a glass that I can actually pour from. Right? Yeah, it's so pulpy. Ta-da! How simple, how quick. We make a good team, don't we? Assuming that's enough lime juice, which I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. Okay, we need 3/4 of an ounce. Right, there we go. 3/4 of an ounce. And 3/4 of an ounce. Probably good that we're cutting back on the proportions here anyway. Right? Yeah, we're going to need more lime juice if I get to a second cocktail. But it's okay. We're good. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Here's a scoop. I could even count this out, right? We've got like, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cubes in there. Sure. 12 works for me, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh no!
Oh no!
12. And we're just going to hold this over here for a moment or two. Okay. Need to lid these up. Soup. Shoop. Flip that over. Flip that over. Got this locked. Shaky, shaky. There we go. Goes in the glass. Mostly in the glass. Partially strained, too much ice. There we go. Okay. There's a problem with this, but we can solve that problem. Let's see, how can I solve that problem? I can do it this way. Like, what is the problem that you were talking about? You cannot visually see the differences between the cocktails.
Ah. We have a Camilla.
Hey, Camilla! All right. So there is cocktail number 1. Shrunken Skull, made with Jack Ruby Grenadine. Number 2. This is Shrunken Skull. And this is made with the home blend. You can see much different color. Or maybe you can't see much different color. I don't know. Great. There. Gonna need a little cleaning, but we'll get there. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, it's going. We're going to seal that up, shake that for 15 seconds, see how we do. Much darker. Probably not quite as long, but I think the shake was a little more vigorous because I was using 2 hands. Again, open core. Man, that is a funky smell from that grenadine. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that funky smell, which has got to be the molasses. Okay, there we go. We have 3 different shrunken skulls. And here is your color differences between them. So this is the shrunken skull made with the Jack Ruby. Here is the shrunken skull made with the home blend. Ow. Shrunken skull obviously has a little more, the Jack Ruby has a little more tan color to it. A little more brownish. This is a little more pink. And then if we compare that to this, that's the homemade, much darker color, but still brownish. Now, I could cheat, right? If I really wanted just the color profile, I could drop some dots of red food coloring in there, but we're not going to do that, at least not right now. Okay, so we have straws from...
Those actually aren't. The clear ones aren't.
Oh, that's right, they're not. Oh no. So, we do have straws that are not from
Surfside Sips.
Surfside Sips. Sorry, guys.
They were the first ones we got.
They were.
And made us go, hey, we want some that look spiffy.
We like glass straws. And it's a shrunken skull.
Mm-hmm.
That seems more pomegranate-y.
It might be that your taste buds are primed for pomegranate.
Yeah, but it seems more pomegranate-y than the grenadine
Oh.
straight. I'm not sure. You want to try that one? I'm not sure what that is. If the lime juice is making that seem more like just straight up pomegranate juice.
I can tell the difference.
Excellent. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think the Pama liqueur has a little more back end on this. So there's a little more complexity on the back end.
Yeah. I like the more complexity.
This has a longer finish, definitely. You like the more complexity. Ooh.
I know. This one's a little flat.
Oh no. It is. It is a little more flat, a little heavier.
Yeah.
It has a nice flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to take that one. I'm going to do a...
Do another taste of this? David likes the color of the blend.
They're different, but how can I say this? They're different, but they're so close in ultimate flavor profile that I'm like, I think this one is just I don't know if it's a little more complex. It's hard for me to make a judgment here. I do not need to drink all of these. They are very close. I get more pomegranate flavor off of this, a little more lime juice off of that. But that's a lot more, it's a lot more earthy. I think if I were to make this again, which I probably will, I will cut back on the molasses and cut back on the orange blossom water. Those are both good. All 3 of those were good. I could taste them without the ice and see what's up with that. Well, that really needs the ice to dilute. Man, adding the Palma really matters. Now see, so with the homemade grenadine, One of the additional ingredients that some people throw in is like 1 ounce of vodka to this whole mix. And I wonder if what I did was to just take 1 ounce of the Palma instead, whether or not that would brighten it up in the way that I want and lighten up the color on this. Yeah, it is. It's just a little flat. I'm kind of saddened. So I think I'm going to go this one, and then this one, and this one. But these two are really, really close to one another. But this one doesn't involve me having to go out and find Jack Ruby and keep it in stock. And I can play with this. I can play with this however I want to make that. So there you go. There's we tasted them. We didn't have a clear favorite, but the tastes were very different from one another. In fact, I would say that on the three, just on the straight taste test of the grenadines, the house blend tasted more cherry-like, which was maybe not where we wanted it, but it worked well in the cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe what it is that the Shrunken Skull having a cherry component to the flavor actually works well, whereas the Shrunken Skull and maybe is more to star in my liking, whereas the more heavy pomegranate flavor from these two is more classic Shrunken Skull. Could very well be. Okay. This is where we need a studio audience because I am not drinking all of this.
I'll drink more.
That is not going to happen. So we are pulling in at 8:15.
Go ahead and make one of the other one. I would do the house and the house blend.
So do these two
Mm-hmm.
for the Dr. Funk.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. I could pretty easily do that. Okay, so the Dr. Funk. The Dr. Funk on face value is very, very, very similar to the Shrunken Skull because it's got grenadine, it's got lime juice, and it's got rum. However, it also has absinthe or pastis added to it, and the ingredients are in very different proportions. So instead of being equal proportions of 2 parts rum, 1 part lime, 1 part grenadine, this is a 1/2 ounce of grenadine, 3/4 ounce of lime juice, just a teaspoon of absinthe, and 1.5 ounces of light rum. So it's actually a lighter cocktail than the Shrunken Skull. And then it has the 1.5 ounces of light rum. We're going to be using Plantation 3-Star for that. And then it's further lightened by using 1 ounce of club soda or just soda water. So that's what we're going to do, but we need more lime juice.
Well, I'm working on it.
Grenadine, 1/2 ounce of grenadine. And we are going with the house blend to start with. Right? That's the plan. All right, so half ounce there. Ooh, I almost put it in the other glass too. That would have been bad. Not bad, it just would have, defeated the purpose, right? Oof. How y'all doing out there? You doing okay? It's I don't know how many weeks into this stupid quarantine we are, into the days of whatever these days are. Hopefully you're all doing okay. I'm hoping that I'm bringing a little bit of joy and pleasure to what is otherwise, I don't know what this is. All right, lime juice, 3/4 ounce lime juice. Let's do that.
David could do a good turn daily, like help drink any excess rum drinks. Keith says that you guys could offer a seminar at the conference on mixology and claim a degree from Miskatonic.
I think
Amy and Keith are in quarantine for real.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to hear about that, Keith. Hopefully you continue to test negative, and hopefully Amy recovers real, quickly and well. Um, I just, folks do everything right and they still end up winding up touched with this thing. It just doesn't seem fair. Okay, absinthe. I have a bottle of absinthe somewhere. Where's my bottle of absinthe? There's my bottle of absinthe. Now, teaspoon of absinthe. That is a lot of absinthe. And I usually keep mine in this tiny little dropper bottle. I'm gonna have to go to the back. 1 teaspoon. Come on, come on. Dark bottle, hard to see. There's a teaspoon. Mount Defiance absinthe. We will refill the dropper bottle after the show is over. Goes there. Rum, Plantation 3-star. Calls for a light rum. Why not? Rather than mix around with different light rums, pretty much I try when I need to keep something in control. When something says white rum, rather than play around with some other rums, I will just go with the Plantation 3-star. It gives me a solid baseline. I know what it tastes like. I know what it's supposed to taste like. Okay, so we're going to go 1.5 ounces. Right, that is here. You know what? I'm going to do this way. I'm going to go 3/4 ounce, 3/4 of an ounce. So there's 3/4. Three-quarter. Do that one more time. I was not entirely sure that the mark on the other side of the jigger was for 1.5 or 1 3/4. And as a consequence, I did not want to. Wow, that's really close. Okay, well, that's just going to go right in there. Dead soldier. How's that? We've been killing bottles of rum on this show recently, so that's kind of cool. Color difference. Yep. yeah, I would say there's a difference in color. I don't think I need to label these to know which was which. All right, we're going to go with ice. Ice sticking to this. All right. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11, 12. I mean, is this exact? No, these cubes are slightly different, but man, this is pretty close. 4, 6, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. There we go. All right. Okay, lid that up. Lid that up. What am I doing here? I don't know. So all of a sudden, I'm all like thumble fingers, right? All thumbs. Don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, we're gonna shake these. This does have a preferred glass, actually. They say Pilsner glasses. So we've got a couple of Pilsner glasses right here. I know, I can hear you saying, but wait a second, isn't there a third or another ingredient to this? And you would be right. There is 1 ounce of soda water. Look at me remembering. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add this to our tumblers here, our shakers. Y'all know why I didn't put this in first, right? You know that it would just kind of cause this to go kaboom when I shook it. And we don't want that. Okay, we are not going to stir this. We're just going to integrate a little bit. There we go. Homemade. Home blend. Well, there you go. There's your difference. Home blend, pinker, redder. Homemade, brown. Now, I gotta admit that if you look at pictures of the Dr. Funk, the classic pictures of the Dr. Funk are brown. So I don't know what that means, but whatever, it means something. This looks light and refreshing. This looks like a tiki drink, right? Okay, so we're gonna drop a Surfside sip straw in these. There's big bamboo, and big green bamboo, even bigger bamboo. There you go. And we're gonna give this a try. We're gonna let that sit for just a moment. There's some, there's the pink. So we can top that up a little bit.
So David says, why not strain all the liquid and then add ice from the shaker to fill?
You can do that. Most of the time people will do the open pour, and then when the glass gets about 3/4 of the way up, then they'll put the strainer on and just strain out the rest of the liquid. I don't think it really matters. At least it doesn't matter from my perspective. Maybe it does, but I don't know why it would. Yeah, see, I thought that straw was shorter. Turns out it is. So, the Dr. Funk. Absinthe makes the heart grow fonder.
The absinthe sort of overpowers that, though. And does not.
Oh. Very absinthe.
Very absinthe.
Yep. Same amount of that. I mean, these are as identical as you can get.
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is the grenadine.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a better cocktail.
Yep.
There's the absinthe, but it's not.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it just kind of pushes everything to the side,
Right.
and all of the other flavors are like, they're there, but they're
dancing around the
absinthe.
absinthe.
This is not. This is a better, more integrated drink. The blend of ingredients there. So, you know, does it depend?
It depends on the drink.
Depends on the drink. If you are using, so I would consider the Mount Defiance absinthe to be a strong absinthe.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were using very strong flavored components in your tiki recipes,
You want to go with a stronger
go with a stronger grenadine, right? Which would mean, you know, in using the Rose's grenadine in either of these would be way too sweet, and they would provide no flavor profile to this. It would just be absinthe. So there you go. We've looked at absinthe, and what have we concluded? We've concluded that it kind of depends on the cocktail that you're making. Would any of these work just fine in a Shirley Temple? Absolutely, with one exception, which is the house blend, because the Shirley Temple is supposed to be a non-alcoholic drink, and this does have a tiny bit of liquor in it, because it's, what, 1/5 of, let's see, there's an ounce, right?
Yeah.
Of the grenadine. So there's a 1/5 of an ounce of the Palma liqueur in there, which probably tops out at like 20% alcohol. So we're talking minuscule amounts, but not unappreciable, right? So you would want to be careful if you were doing cocktails or mocktails using this home blend, because the home blend does have liquor in it. Same thing if you were using the homemade grenadine, but you added vodka to it. So there you go. Taste testing grenadine. Will I make homemade grenadine again? Probably. But I think I'm going to play with the flavor profiles a little bit. Maybe this mixed with some of the hibiscus syrup to get a little bit of different color profile. Um, maybe this takes the place of the Jack Ruby, because then I don't have to go find Jack Ruby every time. I think that might be a way of approaching this as well. I could have done that, right? I could have done another house blend where I just replaced the Jack Ruby with this and gone through and done that and had four of each cocktail, and we'd never survive. So we're not doing that. We are clocking in right about an hour here, folks. So thank you very much for joining us once again. This has been Quarantiki number 92 with Star and Pooch here at Lovecraft Cocktails, with all sorts of tentacles and other Lovecraftian things lying around. And we will see you next weekend, where we will be coming at you live from the Inhulele, something like that, a convention down in Atlanta. At least that is the plan. So talk to you later. Drink some daggone good cocktails. I'm still not sold on that tagline, but we'll see. And I don't know. I will clean up is what I'm going to do. So talk to you all later. Thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye.